Hi, class. It's Miss Klein. I am back in the classroom. We have had to clear out the whole classroom. As you can see behind me, there's still a lot to do, but if you guys can see here, there, I have been clearing out your desks. So, all of you have a bag, and they have your name on it and my name. And if you look into your desk, it is empty because all of the things are in your bag. So I have another bag in here with all your small things. We have your Chinese lantern, and then your books, your writing notebook, math journals, artwork. So I'm about halfway done. These are the desks that are finished. These are the desks that are not, the ones that still have the lanterns, but I'm getting there. So you should have gotten a message today, actually, letting you know what the pickup time is for your stuff. I think it's going to be next week. I think it's going to be Thursday, but take a look. So you can see everything has been taken down off the walls. Names have been erased. Cubbies have been emptied. And so that is, yeah. Sorry, I just realized I was moving the camera a whole bunch. I hope I didn't make you nauseous. That's what's happening. So make sure that you check that out and make sure you show up during your assigned time so that you can get all your stuff. Some of you actually left things like your glasses and some stuff that looked important. So make sure you do that. Okay, I'm gonna set you down because, there we go. We haven't done a read aloud in a while, over a week, I think. So we're gonna do that. I think the last chapter we read was chapter 19. So let's get there. There we go. I love this book. That's chapter 21. That's chapter 20. Yes. Okay, we did. So we read chapter 19. So let's remind ourselves what happened. They're at the fair, and Wilbur did not win first place. The pig named Uncle. That's his name. The pig named Uncle won. He was super big, and everyone was really upset. But then comes over the loudspeaker, and they say that they won a special award. So that's where we're at. They are going to the center of the fair, I guess, and there's going to be an audience there, and they're going to call Wilbur up and everyone up and give a special award. This is chapter 20. If you're following along, I'm on page 155. This is called The Hour of Triumph. Special announcement, said the loudspeaker in a pompous voice. The management of the fair takes great pleasure in presenting Mr. Homer L. Zuckerman and his famous pig. The truck bearing this extraordinary animal is now approaching the infield. Kindly stand back and give the truck room to proceed. In a few moments, the pig will be unloaded in the special judging ring in front of the grandstand, where a special award will be made. Will the crowd please make way and let the truck pass? Thank you. Wilbur trembled when he heard this speech. He felt happy, but dizzy. The truck crept along slowly at low speed. Crowds of people surrounded it, and Mr. Arble had to drive very carefully in order not to run over anybody. At last, he managed to reach the judge's stand. Avery jumped out and lowered the tailgate. I'm scared to death, whispered Mrs. Zuckerman. Hundreds of people are looking at us. Cheer up, replied Mrs. Arble. This is fun. Unload your pig, please, said the loudspeaker. Okay, all together now, boys, said Mr. Zuckerman. Several men stepped up forward from the crowd to help lift the crate, and Avery was the busiest helper of all. Tuck in your shirt, Avery, cried Mrs. Zuckerman, and tighten your belt. Your pants are going to fall down. Can't you see I'm busy? Replied Avery in disgust. Look, cried Fern, pointing. There's Henry. Don't shout, Fern, said her mother, and don't point. Can I please have some money? Asked Fern. Henry invited me to go on the Ferris wheel again, only I don't think he has any money left. He ran out. Mrs. Arble opened her handbag. Here, she said. Here's 40 cents. Now don't get lost and be back at our regular meeting place by the pig pen very soon. Fern raced off, ducking and dodging through the crowd in search of Henry. The Zuckerman pig is now being taken from its crate, boomed the voice of the loudspeaker. Stand by for an announcement. Templeton crouched under the straw at the bottom of the crate. What a lot of nonsense, muttered the rat. What a lot of fuss about nothing. Over in the pig pen, silent and alone, Charlotte rested. Her two front legs embraced the egg sack. Charlotte could hear everything that was being said on the loudspeaker, and the words gave her courage. This was her hour of triumph. As Wilbur came out of the crate, the crowd clapped and cheered. Mr. Zuckerman took off his cap and bowed. Lurvy pulled his big handkerchief from his pocket, wiped the sweat from the back of his neck. Avery knelt in the dirt by Wilbur's side, busily stroking him and showing off. Mrs. Zuckerman and Mrs. Arble stood on the running board of the truck. Ladies and gentlemen, said the loudspeaker, we now present Mr. Homer L. Zuckerman's distinguished pig. The fame of this unique animal has been spread to the far corners of the earth, attracting many valuable tourists to our great state. Many of you will recall the never-to-be-forgotten day last summer when the writing appeared mysteriously on the spider's web in Mr. Zuckerman's barn, calling the attention of all and sundry to the fact that this pig was completely out of the ordinary. This miracle has never been fully explained, although learned men have visited the Zuckerman pig pen to study and observe the phenomenon. In the last analysis, we simply know we are dealing with supernatural forces here, and we should all feel proud and grateful. In the words of the spider web, ladies and gentlemen, this is some pig. Wilbur blushed. He stood perfectly still and tried to look his best. This magnificent animal, continued the loudspeaker, is truly terrific. Look at him, ladies and gentlemen. Notice the smoothness and the whiteness of the coat. Observe the spotless skin, the healthy pink glow of its ears and snout. That's the buttermilk, whispered Mrs. Arble to Mrs. Zuckerman. Note the general radiance of this animal. Then remember the day when the word radiant appeared clearly on the web. Whence came this mysterious writing? Not from the spider. We can rest assured of that. Everyone keeps saying that, right? Spiders are very clever at weaving their webs, but needless to say, spiders cannot write. Oh, they can't they? Murmured Charlotte to herself. And remember, class, we always thought that was so funny that everyone was like, thinking Wilbur was the special one, when really Charlotte's the special one. And I can't remember who it was. It was either Mrs. Zuckerman or Mrs. Arble who even said that. They were like, well, I think we have an incredible spider for being able to write all that. And everyone was like, no, it's obviously the pig, which is just so funny. Ladies and gentlemen, continued the loudspeaker, I must not take any more of your valuable time. On behalf of the governors of the fair, I have the honor of awarding a special prize of $25 to Mr. Zuckerman. And remember, guys, this is a long time ago. This book was written, I always forget, 50s? 30s? 40s? 50s. 1952. So $25 was a lot back then. Remember at the fair, like Fern was just given 40 cents, and that's going to be enough for her to do a whole bunch of things, go on the Ferris wheel, buy Henry a ticket. So money was different back then. It was worth a lot more. Together with a handsome bronze medal suitably engraved in a token of our appreciation of the part played by this pig, this radiant, this terrific, this humble pig, in attracting so many visitors to our great county fair. Wilbur had been feeling dizzier and dizzier throughout this long complimentary speech. When he heard the crowd begin to cheer and clap again, he suddenly fainted away. His legs collapsed, his mind went blank, and he fell to the ground unconscious. "What's wrong?" asked the loudspeaker. "What's going on, Zuckerman? What's the trouble with your pig?" Avery was kneeling by Wilbur's head, stroking him. Mr. Zuckerman was dancing about, fanning him with a cap. "He's all right," cried Mr. Zuckerman. "He gets these spells. He's modest and can't stand praise." "Well, we can't give a prize to a dead pig," said the loudspeaker. "It's never been done." "He isn't dead," hollered Zuckerman. "He's fainted. He just gets embarrassed easily. Run for some water, Lurvy." Lurvy sprang from the judge's ring and disappeared. Templeton poked his head from the straw. He noticed that the end of Wilbur's tail was in reach. Templeton grinned. "I'll tend to this," he chuckled. He took Wilbur's tail in his mouth and bit it just about as hard as he could bite. And the pain revived Wilbur. In a flash, he was back on his feet. "Ouch!" he screamed. "Hooray!" yelled the crowd. "He's up! The pig is up! Good work, Zuckerman! That's some pig!" Everyone was delighted. Mr. Zuckerman was the most pleased of all. He sighed with relief. Nobody had seen Templeton. The rat had done his work well. And now one of the judges climbed into the ring with the prizes. He handed Mr. Zuckerman 2 $10 bills and a $5 bill. Then he tied the medal around Wilbur's neck. And then he shook hands with Mr. Zuckerman while Wilbur blushed. Avery put out his hand and the judge shook hands with him too. The crowd cheered and a photographer took Wilbur's picture. A great feeling of happiness swept over the Zuckermans and the Arables. This was the greatest moment in Mr. Zuckerman's life. It is deeply satisfying to win a prize in front of a lot of people. So here are the pictures. This picture is when Wilbur has fainted away, and this picture is the photographer and getting the prize and everything. As Wilbur was being shoved back into the crate, Lurvy came charging through the crowd, carrying a pail of water. His eyes had a wild look. Without hesitating a second, he dashed the water at Wilbur. In his excitement, he missed his aim, and the water splashed all over Mr. Zuckerman and Avery. They got soaking wet. "For goodness sakes," bellowed Mr. Zuckerman, who was really drenched. "What ails you, Lurvy? Can't you see the pig is all right?" "You asked for water," said Lurvy meekly. "I didn't ask for a shower bath," said Mr. Zuckerman, and the crowd roared with laughter. Finally, Mr. Zuckerman had to laugh too. And of course, Avery was tickled to find himself so wet, and he immediately started acting like a clown. He pretended he was taking a shower bath, made faces and danced around, rubbed imaginary soap under his armpits, and then he dried himself with an imaginary towel. "Avery, stop it!" cried his mother. "Stop showing off!" But the crowd loved it. Avery heard nothing but the applause. He liked being a clown in a ring, with everybody watching in front of a grandstand. When he discovered there was a little water left in the bottom of the pail, he raised the pail high in the air and dumped the water on himself and made faces. The children in the grandstand screamed with appreciation. At last, things calmed down. Wilbur was loaded into the truck. Avery was led from the ring by his mother and placed on the seat of the truck to dry off. The truck, driven by Mr. Arable, crawled slowly back to the pig pen. Avery's wet trousers made a big, wet spot on the seat. All right, we're going to stop there. We are on page 163, and there is a total of 184 pages. So 163, 173, that's 10, 183, that's 20, 184, that's 21. We only have 21 pages left. We only have 2 chapters left, and I'm going to read those last 2 chapters together. So there's only going to be one more read aloud video for Charlotte's Web. We're going to keep going with read alouds till the end of the year. I'm also going to send out the next sections of the film. I know that we watched all the way up to, I'm actually not sure. Maybe part 10 of the video, maybe part 11. I know part 9 didn't work. So I heard that from you guys. Part 9 does not work. I realized that. I don't have a replacement part. So you either get the movie yourself or you just miss that section of the movie. It is what it is. We're almost done. Almost done with Charlotte's Web. That's crazy. A couple things before I go. Again, you need to come come and pick your stuff up. There's important things in your desk that I want you guys to take home. I think that is going to be next Thursday, or at least it starts next Thursday. Make sure that your parents know what the pickup time is, because we're going to be doing it at different times for your last name, I think it is. Oh, the light just went off in the classroom. I've been here too long. I think it goes by last name. It might go by grade level. You should know by that email. The other thing I wanted to talk to you guys about is your poster. So you should be finishing up on your poster for Earth Day. There's a video for you to watch, and then in the Google Doc, you're supposed to write 3 things you learned from the video. And on that same Google Doc, you're supposed to write out what your idea is for how you think Earth Day should be celebrated. And then underneath that, it talks about your poster. So you need to make a poster. It's gonna be a big 1-pager, which means it needs to be very colorful. There needs to be pictures, there needs to be words. You're gonna do a border all the way around. And then somewhere in your poster, you're gonna need to answer 5 questions. You can do that with writing or pictures. Those questions are also listed on the Google Doc. It's like, where is it taking place? Who should participate? When is it happening? What are we doing? That kind of thing. And so you figure out how you want it to look. It's your poster, be creative. And then Monday at 10 o'clock, we are gonna have a whole class Zoom. You need to be there to get credit for your poster, because you're gonna be presenting your poster. So you don't need to come up with a speech ahead of time. You're just gonna show the poster, and then you're gonna spend about 10 to 30 seconds letting us know what the event you think, what the event you came up is. And that didn't make sense. The event you came up with is, and just show us your poster and explain it a little bit. That is how I'm going to be grading your posters. And so you need to make sure that you show up to that Zoom meeting, 10 o'clock on Monday. If you know ahead of time you're not going to be able to show up, you need to tell me, or else you're going to get a 0 on your poster. I can have another Zoom time if that time doesn't work for you, if you know you're not available at that time. But this is worth 100 points. It's worth a lot. And so you need to do it. The other thing is that there's still some of you who are not doing your work consistently. I want to remind you that this work is graded, and this work goes on your report card for 3rd grade. You are still getting a report card sent home on the last day of school. So you really need to step up and get your work done. You need to be doing 20 minutes of iReady Math, 20 minutes of iReady Reading, a few spelling city games, getting a green light on Reflex, working on your social studies science project with this week is the poster. You need to be reading for 30 minutes, writing that down on your reading log, taking AR quizzes, doing physical activities for at least 20 minutes a day, and recording that on your PE log. And that's what you need to be doing every single day. And a lot of you are falling behind. That is going to affect your grade in 3rd grade. So that's why I have office hours. I'm here to help. I'm available to meet you on Zoom if you want to do a video chat. I'm available for phone calls, texts, emails. So please let me know how I can support you. Make sure you're getting your work done. Okay, I think that's it. I did not send out an end of the week report for last week. I did have one of my animals die last week, and so I wasn't able to get some of the work done because I was sad. And you know how that happens when you're sad and you're mourning and missing. It's hard to get the same amount of work done, which I understand for you guys. So if something comes up in your life and you're going to need to miss a day of work, you just need to have your parents tell me. Let me know what's going on in your lives. I'll let you know what's going on in mine. But there will be an end of the week report sent out for this week. So don't worry. For last week, I did grade all of your stuff. So your writing was returned to you. Everything that could be graded was graded and returned to you. So make sure you check that out for last week. Even though I didn't do an end of the week report, I still graded and returned all of your assignments. I think that's it, you guys. Okay, I miss you. Let me know if you need anything. And make sure you come and pick up your stuff. Okay, bye. See you next time.